Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the 28th episode of the SuperNova show. And I am a professional, and I totally know what episode this is. And, yep, here I am. But today we got a very interesting episode. We're going to talk a little Schmoedown stuff, and then we're going to go into Robert Kastner's fan league adventure that he's got going on here. Then we're going to do Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And then we're going to talk about Loki, episode 4 and 5, and then The Bad Batch, episode 10 and 11. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting episode. We had last week's episode, which was something else, where I talked about F9 and some other stuff. Out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yep, it was good. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring out Mr. Robert Kastner.
Oh, hey, is that today?
Yep.
Oh, my non-watch wasn't working. So,
So how you been, man?
I've been good. 2 weeks off. It's not off. I'm saying 2 weeks off from the show. It has been interesting. Today, or should I say Friday, started a evolutionary part of my job, which I was not expecting to start. And as a result, you don't like it when your job institute things on a Friday. The idea is that it's supposed to ease you in, but knowing that it was happening the previous day made me wary of the Friday. And I'm not supposed to be wary of Fridays. I'm supposed to welcome Fridays. That's the deal. But when my job decided to institute this other part of what it is I would have to do, which I didn't think I would have to do for months, it did not sit well with me. But that day didn't end up being too bad, so it's fine.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Last week we talked about F9. So I told you before the show, I have a joke for you. Yes. So you know how John Cena's in this movie?
I've heard.
So yeah, he's a character in this movie, and I'm not going to spoil the movie for those of you that are out there that have totally want to watch this. But did you know he's in the other Fast and the Furious movies?
No.
Yeah, you just couldn't see him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my wife has heard that joke about 8 times, and she keeps on telling me I'm stupid. But everyone else I tell it to, they laugh, so I'll take it.
You got a nice guffaw. I give you a guffaw. Aha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, it's been a very interesting 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep. Friday, I went and saw Black Widow. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about it today out there in the internet. We know that's probably ridiculous to talk about it 2 days after the movie came out. But
not if you're the Twitter sphere, it's not.
Oh yeah, trust me. Friday, I didn't get on Twitter once.
It's a good call.
I get on Twitter a lot, but I did not get on it at all. But yeah, so let's jump into some Schmoedown stuff.
Sweet.
Okay, so we had the big Ethan Irwin versus Ben Bateman match.
We did. That did happen.
Ethan won, and then they had that big challenge. What did you think of that?
Can you refresh my memory, please?
It was the Mark was asking about Drive, he said, which is one movie, and then what was the other one?
Zed and Going South.
Going South, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ben thought it was 3 movies that he said because he said it with such a pause in between them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So his manager came in and was like, hey, I want to challenge that because you didn't give him ample enough time because he used all his repeats. And then they went into overtime, and then Ethan won. And like that's such a weird thing because then we had the huge controversial challenge last Friday with the Barbarian and
with McWeenie. Yeah.
and Sam's the one that challenged that, and that was like I know Amaru's our friend on the show, but I've been watching it and I'm like I understand both sides to that challenge, but I understand both sides to the Ethan Irwin challenge too. So I'm like, oh, I don't like that could really go either way. And I feel so sorry for the Barbarian because he killed that match.
He got everything but the last question, and unfortunately, the last question was in reference to a movie that one of the Schmoedown stalwarts is in.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's in that movie.
That Newsies was my guess when I was playing along, because anytime I hear '90s musical and New York, I assume it's Newsies.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think about at least those two challenges? Because, like, if you, in my opinion, if you clock the challenge between Barbarian and McWeenie, it is about almost 2 seconds before he picks up and is like, "Nope, that's wrong." True Grit.
Mm-hmm.
But
they didn't call it.
Yeah.
I liken that sports reference to you play until the whistle blows, and if the whistle doesn't blow, then technically there are things that can still happen at that time. It's like when you're playing football and a pile is trying to move, but it stops, so you think it should stop, but the whistle doesn't come till late. So I liken it to that. So if they didn't call it and they were willing to, the challenge happened and it still was in favor of McWeenie, then I don't really see a problem with correcting yourself if it's before the situation where they haven't officially deemed whether it was right or wrong. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I know on Backstage this week they talked about it and about
they did.
Yeah, Andrew Guy had talked to Ben on their show on Sunday and was like, we don't immediately say if the answer is correct or incorrect because we want to make it like a big moment. So, like, he corrected himself faster than we could have said incorrect. So, in the future, we may have to just go, nope, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like, that we definitely gave him enough time. But, like, if Sam challenged on that, then, which was filmed before the Ethan Irwin match. So in the Ethan Irwin match, he like pretty much calls Bateman and Witt cheaters for going into sudden death because of that. I'm like, that's really hypocritical. But when that is definitely like, I understand they're probably using StreamYards or whatever, and they don't want to like stop the stream and then play it back in time how long he waited because the rulebook does say 1 second. So if they played it back and timed how long it took him, he would have been wrong. Just by the basis of the rule book. But that was what Sam based it on was the rule book says you can do this, but he didn't specify, hey, you have only 1 second to do that. And because it was definitely more than that. So yeah, I think it's a little hypocritical, but hey, it happens.
That's what managers do though. They play it off when it's in their favor and then they complain about it when it isn't. That's what you're supposed to do as a manager. You're supposed to be a hypocrite.
Yeah. But yeah, and I know let's take this back for a few minutes. Let's say this is Friday night and we're doing some predictions. We got Lightning.
Not so good at those.
Yeah, we got Lightning Time versus Deception Friday night, and then Rushmore versus Final Exam. What kind of predictions you got for that?
Not to get Rue mad, but I am going to pick Corruption in the first match. In that one, I just go with talent. And I think Ethan's great, obviously, because he was the champion. But I think the collective talent of Marisol and Collins can overwhelm Liz Shannon Miller.
Yeah.
So that's why
I agree completely. I can see both of them getting perfect rounds. I mean, I say
Liz is good. Liz is good. I should backtrack. Liz is very good. I just think Collins and Marisol are both better than her.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. And then, all right, Rushmore versus Final Exam.
It's another one of those things. I know Lon's been on a little bit of he beat McWeeny, interestingly enough. But McWeeny said he didn't take him seriously and he was knocking off ring rust. But I'm never going to bet against Paul Oyama. Never going to bet against him. So I understand why, Rushmore is probably the favorite, I assume.
Yeah.
I think their record's better technically, but I'm going to go with Final Exam. I'm going to go with Swag. Swag.
I am also going to go with Swag, but I have totally different reasons.
Okay.
Like last time, I chose Rushmore because for the story element, I wanted them to face Danger Zone, and that would be a good story. They've already faced Danger Zone, so I don't need the story there. And I'm one of those people that this may be controversial, and I apologize out there to the internet, but I do not like JTE.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't like JTE for myriad reasons.
Yeah, like nothing to do with in-game. Like I can't stand him outside of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think a lot of it is what the extracurriculars.
Yep, and because of that, I can never cheer for anything that he's like. I don't like the exchange this season because even though all their people, like, I'm not cheering for the exchange. Like there are members in the exchange that I'm cheering for, but I cannot cheer for the exchange as a whole because of that.
Okay.
So
this is personal. This is a personal pride preference type of thing where your feelings just can't jibe with choosing them.
Which is so weird because Roka is probably my favorite character in the Schmoedown, but I have
to me, he's not anymore.
Yeah, like they posted on the Schmoedown page on YouTube the documentary. And I've already seen it like 3 or 4 times, but I watched it again yesterday I guess Thursday, whenever it got posted because I was like, I like that document so much, and I like Roka as a person. So, but yeah, that's who I choose. I choose Final Exam.
So you're going with me. So when this fails and we go 0-2, you're going to blame me because.
Oh no, I'm already the cursed one.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we've already established that in this show is whoever I choose. Apparently, that just goes awful. But at least if we both chose it, then there's no winner here.
Did you, me, and Rue all pick Ethan to win that match?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
The conglomerate, the triumvirate can succeed.
Yes. That is absolutely correct.
I know Rue did it for towing the company line, but
yeah, and I kind of did it. Well, I did it for the same reasons, except I just wanted. I don't want the dungeon to be that far ahead.
Yeah.
If they had won, then they would have got 4 points for that, and then 7 points for the championship match. So they would be so out ahead.
I know it probably won't hold, but I did pick before the year started. I did pick that I thought the dungeon would be very good, and I did think they would be near the top. So I'm just saying that right now it looks like a good.
Yeah, I guess it's all according to how many times Dan defends the title this year.
I think he'll beat Ethan. If we're gonna look far ahead, I think he'll beat Ethan.
Yeah, and then he'll beat Kevin. He'll beat Kevin Smith if it's Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
If it's Marisol, he might. And then they have this little.
I think he'll beat Marisol.
Yeah. I would like to see Marisol win because I think
Anybody would like to see Marisol to win.
and then they have this little small tournament they're doing with who is it? Chance versus Snyder, and then JT versus Collins.
Why?
And then the winner of that, then they face each other, and then the winner of that faces for the championship. And this is all supposed to be before the singles tournament or some mess. And I'm like,
so Dan, has defended 3 times before the tournament, and then another time after the tournament?
Yeah.
Holy God, that's messed up.
Yep. So if he defends it against winner of this mini tournament, and then winner of Marisol and Kevin, and then if he beats Ethan, he'll defend it 3 times before Spectacular.
I think if he beats Ethan, he will definitely beat the winner of Kevin Smith and Marisol McKee. And then that will be interesting. Whoever comes out of the mini tournament, my money would be on Collins. So then it would be Dan Collins, Trey.
Yeah. And I think whoever wins this mini tournament will not be in the singles tournament.
I don't think you could put them in the tournament. I think that would be
which I hate that, because like whether it be, if let's say for an example, if Marisol beats Dan and then Collins wins this mini tournament, their 2 biggest singles stars are not in.
They still have Mike and Chance.
So but Mike's not super. Chance is good.
Yeah,
Mike is not super good.
Mike's good enough to win a round or 2 and get some points. I'm wondering if, based on what you said, do you think Collins would think about throwing to go into the tournament? And
no, but I think he would. He could potentially. You could see him do like what Kalinowski did last year, and stepping out of this mini tournament to be in the singles.
Oh, you think? I think he should. Honestly, I think that would probably be.
I think him and Chance should theoretically, because. But I mean, it's always possible.
See a situation where those 2 could like meet in the final, and I mean, how many, like in the singles tournament? How many points is that? That's a crazy accrued amount of points.
But yeah, and then I think they announced in August is when the IG championship match between Mike and Chandru is. So we're going to get another one of these scenarios. We're going to have 2 number 1 contenders in the IG division, because we'll have the winner of Saul and
Rue,
and then Chandru is also over there, and technically Oyama, because he can cash in on anyone that he wants to.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I wonder which one he will do. I'm curious. I wonder if they'll do like a spectacular. I wonder if they'll do like the Sam thing that Sam did at Collision, where he'll like wait till whoever wins the single and then come in and like.
Yeah, I think I know both bands, Ben Bateman and
yes. Well, everybody out there in SuperNova fandom land, it seems like we've lost Colton. Colton, are you there? Hello, Colton. Nope, I guess not. So I guess this is me going to Vamp for a bit. So yeah, so we're gonna have a few different contenders in those different leagues. I would imagine. I would have to think if Oyama wants to challenge for anything. I don't think it would be IG. I definitely think it would probably be singles or teams. And I guess if Final Exam wins this match against Rushmore, he's less inclined to want to use it for teams. Oh, it's just me on the screen now. Look at that. Glorious purpose. I've taken over the SuperNova show. I guess that's mine, at least for this Sunday. So, yeah. So I would imagine that Oyama would probably want to use it for singles. And I think it would be more drama-filled if he would just wait to use that for the purpose of coming in Spectacular. I mean, Spectacular 6. We're better to have 7 or 8 matches, however many that they're going to have in this situation where, for those who haven't been paying attention, the tickets for Spectacular 6 have been flying off the electronic shelves, and everybody's doing what they can to try to get to LA for that. So why not make it as drama-filled as possible? Let Oyama find his way into using that and then, move on from there. That makes a lot of sense to me. Honestly, everybody out there, I haven't had an opportunity to watch. I did watch that McWeenie Barbarian match because I was interested, but I have not been watching matches for this week, although there have been some compelling ones. I was very much interested, although I did not get an opportunity to watch it. I was very much interested in the teams match, the Outsiders versus the Press Room. Get a chance to go through that. I also noticed that they're taking a bit of opportunity to put in some FCL stuff on the Schmoedown YouTube channel. I haven't got a chance to look at those things yet, but interesting that they're trying to plug it a little bit more. Don't know how the Twitch streams are doing with regards to FCL, but trying to get as many eyes in there as possible. And look who's back.
Hey, I don't have any idea what you're talking about, but
I was just going on about that I hadn't watched any of the matches from this previous week, although I was interested in the Outsiders versus the Press Room teams match, although I did not get to it. And then I was also talking about the fact that they started adding FCL matches to the Schmoedown YouTube page because I'm not sure how Twitch is doing.
Yeah, it's I think they're a few weeks behind. Man, they're I watched the FCL, and I know Anthony made the comment last week that he thought he could swoop through anyone who plays in the FCL.
Yeah.
I didn't think that because I've been watching their matches. And in singles matches, all right, so they had Brother Lomas in the Schmoedown play against someone, May. I don't know what her name is, but I got 3 points in the entire match.
Jeez.
Yeah, I got one question right in round 1, and then I got one question right in round 2 for
Beth Maniac May.
Yep, that's it. So I was like, huh. But I watched their IG match in the FCL, and man, like I am not great at trivia, but man, if I went to the FCL, I'd be the Inner Geekdom champion tomorrow.
Interesting how that works, huh?
Like it was so, like I normally get like 6 to 7 points in round 1, and I still don't think that's great when people get 10, 11, but they were getting like 4.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? And I didn't get the chance to watch the Star Wars match, but yeah, like it's not like you can tell. Like I didn't know who one of the competitors were, but one of them, the other one played in the Schmoedown a few seasons ago, and she was not very good then, and she has not gotten any better.
Is it the woman from Late to the Party?
No, her name's Keaton.
Yeah.
But she not great. But yeah, like
I'm of the opinion that the people who are in the FCL, it's not to work on character work. It's to work on trivia work because they wouldn't be eaten alive if they were in the big league, which is usually what happens when you have minor leagues. It's based on talent, but
But that's the thing. That's all they've got down. Like I love the storylines that are going on down there, but their talent is awful.
Yes.
Like anyone in the
there's a few people who are good, like Robert, like Shimo.
Yeah.
Somehow Flaus is the champion right now.
Which I like that storyline because that is very wrestling inspired, and the fact that like Brad Gilmore, he's like involved in wrestling in Texas, so I really like all of that. So I'm like, hey, I like the fact that they wrote in a storyline on how the champion went to the Schmoedown and had to get rid of the belt. Oh, he signed off the belt to Stop Flirting Flaus. And I like that. So because that's totally a thing that they would do in professional wrestling. But yeah, like I don't know. The Schmoedown, it's going well sometimes.
I don't watch it like I used to.
I try and watch now that again we've talked about this. I can talk about it, and I've talked about it online. I'm unemployed, so there's a lot of things that I have to do during the day. Like, I have watched almost all of that '70s show this week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great.
Okay.
It's a good show. Like I forgot how funny it is. The 8th season makes me. I haven't got there yet, but I remember how bad it was, and I don't want to watch it.
Is that the one with Seth Meyers' brother? Is he in that one?
I don't have any idea. I know it's the
Josh Myers. He's like the guy with like the gold wavier hair. I think.
Oh yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Topher Grace left to go be in Spider-Man 3, which I think is a huge mistake. And then Ashton Kutcher,
not for his profile, but in general, yes.
Yeah, and then Ashton Kutcher left because he was actually becoming a star in Hollywood. So then it was like
he was making Just Married and The Killers and movies like that.
And I do think there's like good moments in that show. Like there's this one really sweet moment where Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are talking, and she's like, I want to have, if there's going to be baby Kelsos running around, I want them to be mine. And I remember like when they announced their pregnancy, it was that clip of, I want your babies to be mine or something. And then it was their reveal. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I mean, it's not planned like that. You guys weren't together, and she was like 16 and you were 23 at the time, but
yeah, and he married Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember when there was the cool thing where like he would go hang out with Bruce Willis and it'd be like, yeah, it's my ex-wife, and he was like 40 years younger than Bruce Willis or whatever. Remember that?
Like, I remember that being like the weirdest thing because like he was like one of the hot newest people because that '70s show blew up, and he was someone who was 20 years older than him. And at the time, I was like, I don't understand. But now, as you know, someone who's this age, I'm like, oh, cougars are a thing. It happens.
They exist.
Yeah. But as a kid, I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you do that?
It goes both ways each time.
Yep.
And that's fine. Society, love doesn't know boundaries.
Yep. But okay, so let's talk about your little fan league adventure. I know you had your fandom match.
Yes.
And you had your match with TMG on your road to the title. So
yes.
Richard. And
which one would you like to get into first?
Whichever. Let's go with your fandom match because that came out first.
All right. So let's preface my fandom match. My fandom career started. I played someone who I was unaware of at the time. His name is Regev, but he's apparently very big, like on Schmoedown chats and whatnot. And I beat him pretty thoroughly. And because of that, I got to be in the tournament without any additional matches to have to play. Regev played in a 5-way to get in, and he was the 32 seed, so he had to play the number 1 seed, Thomas Scully, who's very good. Then I played the first round. I played against someone who hadn't played in a year, and we went through 7 rounds of overtime. Jack Pinchuk. I somehow pulled that one out. Then I was the 13 seed, so I was pretty fairly highly ranked, with only 1 match under my belt. Then I played former fandom champion Dominic Rizzi. That match also went to overtime. I did win that match, so I was 3-0. Going to play the 5 seed Tyler Butler. Tyler had previously to that had played Coho, I believe, Caleb Coho, in a number 1 contender match to play Nick Tuig for the title. So going into that match, I was not looking ahead, but I was very much aware of what was ahead of me, which was going to play the 1 seed if I win. The match goes fairly evenly in the first round. I take a lead twice, but he catches up because I did forget some things. And there was a ruling on a Shrek question, which was fair, but I was upset about it. So we were tied. And because we were tied and he's the higher seed, he got to decide what he wanted to do. He went first. He got his strength of Planet of the Apes. I did steal for 2 points in that, and I was very excited. There was a question about War for the Planet of the Apes that they ruled in favor for him. I did do a challenge, which I still to this day validate was a fair challenge, that just saying they helped with the, like, they helped for the war was not relevant enough, because that could mean a variety of things and doesn't really encapsulate what it is that the apes were doing in that movie. That being said, they ruled against it, but I was close, and then I got opponent's choice. And usually when I get opponent's choice in things, I do not get death knelled to the degree that I got death knelled in this one, because they gave me Oscars, which is the other strength that Tyler has. I'm usually fairly good at Oscars. I like Oscar data questions. These questions just got me for some reason. And the first 2 questions in my round, I went to multiple choice, and I knew it was between one of 2, and I guessed wrong both times. If I get those right, it makes the third round a lot more interesting. He also probably bets a little bit more, but still. And then the third round, I tried to bet on a quotes question. It was a horror question that I should have known, but I didn't. And then I got the rest of them right to get to the point where we could have went to overtime, which apparently Tyler and I really love doing. But he decided to bet for it on YA, and he got it, so he beat me by a point.
Yeah.
If I got anything but opponent's choice, and maybe Oscars, but again, I don't mind Oscars that much. It just wasn't. I just didn't get the kinds of Oscar questions I was hoping to get. I think I could have won that match. I don't think Tyler's that much better than me, if he is better than me. I think just opponent's choice is a hard thing to overcome, especially when you're getting deeper into a tournament and you're playing. The questions get harder, and you're playing somebody of that caliber. So I was very disappointed in how that match went, because I would have liked to be 4-0 and play Scully. But in fandom, I do not see that many people who I don't think I couldn't beat on my best day. There's maybe 3 people, literally, I think I couldn't beat on the best day. Scully was one of them, but I think I could have made it close. So I'm bummed about the fandom tournament, but still 3-1, and I'm still in contention for Rookie of the Year in that league. So you can go ahead and give your thoughts. I gave the entire play-by-play of everything.
Yeah, I remember watching it and thinking to myself, even though you got opponent's choice, I thought, like, with the betting rounds and everything, I was like, he's going to pull this. He's going to do this. And I remember you lost by 1 point, and I immediately messaged you and was like, that's a bummer, man.
He did what I did not expect, which was he bet on scores and soundtracks when he was up 3, I think. And it was an MCU scores and soundtracks question. So I was like, oh, maybe I can get this one, because that scores and soundtracks question for MCU is not the easiest one. But then he pulled it, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to lose this match. But, you know, he bet smart. They bet smart. I probably shouldn't have bet on quotes. Maybe I could have tied it then, but I did it. And it's a quote I should have known. I was just, that one was in my head because I was thinking which, when they said horror icons movie, in my head, I was thinking horror icons villain. And I was like, well, it has to be like a Freddy quote, obviously. But I got that wrong, because I wasn't thinking about other characters talking, and that being the quote. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And then, all right. So I don't know how fandom works. I know they have their summer series, and then don't they have another winter?
They usually have a winter tournament or a late fall tournament as well. Yes.
All right. So you'll definitely be in that. Right.
That, well, probably, unless like inner machinations happen where, you know, I don't want to say too much. Probably I will be in that other tournament as well. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know, I'm also playing in teams, and the goal is to try to be in the winter fandom teams tournament as well, if possible.
Yep. All right. And then your TMG match.
Yes.
That was like, you murdered him.
Not really. I let it go because there were a couple MCU questions that I just haven't heard in a minute. It's really what it is. It's just about I'm putting a lot in here and some things are filtering out. And if I haven't heard something in a minute, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't remember what that is. But it is what it is. I don't think I murdered him. I got a TKO, but I mean it was 3 points.
Yeah, but I mean, that's without you going into your round.
I know. Yeah,
well,
I know. I could have beat him by 12, but that's it's besides the point.
Yeah,
I think it was a little closer than your.
Like,
go ahead.
He used repeat the question twice in round 1.
Yeah, at that point I kind of was like, I probably have this.
Yeah, that was the point where I knew he lost right there.
Yeah.
I was like,
when he used it on the first question, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
Star Trek questions really got him. Honestly, he did not do. I mean, he got two pointers in his Star Trek category, but still, he got a lot of Star Trek questions incorrect.
Yeah, I always try and play along, but like I told you, I don't do Star Trek. Like I've seen the 3 in the Abrams era, but
did you know Jayla?
Yeah, I knew that one. And then
did you know the Kelvin Memorial Archives?
Yeah, and I knew that one.
You knew that one? Good. I knew it was Archives. I just had forgotten that they named it after the Kelvin timeline. It was I knew that at one point in my life, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then there was another question that I knew immediately.
Did you know Savick?
No.
Did you know Praxis? Did you know Data saying?
Yep, that was it.
Yeah.
Yep, because I remember that going through it and was like, oh, it's whoever Sheldon Cooper was dressed up as in Big Bang Theory, and then it took me a second. I was like, oh, it's Data.
Yeah.
Boom. If you had asked me who the actor was, I would have no idea. But
Brent Spiner.
Yeah, okay. Like in that moment, it was Jim Parsons, but because I could not, outside of that, I could not think of anything. So I was like, yep. But yeah, that's probably the thing I've watched the least of. I've not watched any Next Generation content at all. Like at least, like I haven't really watched any original stuff either. But I've watched enough. Like I've watched the Abrams stuff and Discovery to know kind of what's going on.
We have all because we have YouTube TV. We have all the Star Treks recorded and in our DVR, so I can throw them on whenever I want to.
Yeah.
But that match, I mean, I was up 4 points. I'm mad I forgot. I honestly, like, they told me Valkyrie's scrapper name, and I was like, I don't know if that's right. And then I looked it up, and I was like, no, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I had that wrong just in my head, even though I knew that at some point. And then Molaram, I should have got. That was I got close. I was like, I know it's something like this. My brain couldn't pull it together.
That was Scrapper 427, right?
Scrapper 142 is
142. Okay.
I said 127, so I was around the area. I just couldn't pull it fully. I never would have got John Hurt because I haven't studied 1978 Lord of the Rings as clearly as I should have.
Yeah, that was one I knew because I knew he was Ollivander, and that's the only reason why I knew that.
I know Anthony Daniels is Bilbo. I know that shit. that's never gonna leave. The other ones, and then I got MCU. I was excited, and then they gave me the Huntsville, Alabama question was one I hadn't heard ever. I mean, I obviously remember this but I don't go back to watch Captain Marvel all that often or study it. So that one I never would have got probably. And then, who knows what my third round would have been. I knew his first 2. I did not know Kelvin Memorial Archives because I wouldn't have been able to pull the exact name. But I think even if he had got that, I would have won. So He did mention that he thought some of my multiple choices were easier. I contest that I thought his were easier. I knew all his Star Trek questions anyway. I kind of wish I had gotten Star Trek, honestly, given how those questions were. But it is what it is. So now there are implications to me winning that match. I am on a road to the title. I do get to play Mr. David Garcia with the right to play Joe for the title.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know if that's already been filmed or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and just ask you, how do you feel about facing David?
So we played in the tournament in the quarters last year, and we went down to the last question. I got MCU. I got my strength in that match, and I went. It was another one of those. I know this now. It was a question about, I think Iron Man 2, Oscar nomination, and I was between two and guessed the wrong thing. And then they asked what vehicle they used for battering the embassy in Civil War, and I just had forgotten that part, and I went for two. And if I just go down to one, I probably could have got it, and then we're tied, I think, as the swing, and then who knows what would have happened. So I can play with David. I will have to be better than I played against Richard to vanquish him. But yeah, no, I feel pretty good about it, actually. I think this is the time. I've been studying these things. I got other geek matches that I've been preparing for. I've been watching a lot of geek matches, so I don't think it's an impossibility. I will say.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you. I also have many other things I have going on, which also require my attention. So we'll see how all of those go together.
Yeah, like I don't have any of that to the point where, like the other day, I guess I can say this because this will come out on Sunday. They're doing their Harry Potter deep cut thing.
Yes. Yes.
So Kevin messaged me about it. I was like, "Would you want to be a part of this?" And I was like, "Ooh, let me think about it." And then I was like, I messaged him yesterday, or sorry, Thursday, and was like, "No, I don't think I'll be able to make it." And I was just like, I really wanted to, really wanted to, but it was like 3 p.m. on a it's 3 p.m. today.
Yes.
So I was just like, with church and lunch with the kids and the family, if I don't make it back in time, I'll feel bad. So I was just like, no, I can't. But I would have loved to. Like that would have been one of those opportunities where if it wasn't on a Sunday, like if it was yesterday on Saturday, I would totally be there. Boom, I would make that work. I would make those Harry Potter questions my B word. I would kill it.
I was also asked if I wanted to do it, and I have another thing I'm thinking about doing, so I'm probably not going to do it. And plus, while I know Harry Potter fairly well, I have not watched those in a minute, so I don't think I would feel uberly confident about it.
Yeah, with us, like us reviewing it on the show, I'm like, ooh, I might be able to do this. But again, I have not watched Fantastic Beast in such a long time. Like, I'll put on Crimes of Grindelwald because I like it. It's like torturing myself to watch it. Now that you've brought it up, before I was just able to watch it and it was fun because I liked it. But now that you've brought up that it's an awful movie, it absolutely is.
It absolutely is bad.
Yeah, I just always think about it's a good addition to the books, and that makes me happy. But just as a movie that's related to the other 8 movies, it's not great.
It's so bad. I hate it so much. I don't want to rewatch it, but I know I will have to. Speaking of going back to fandom, they did have another one of the third round matches, Scully versus RJ. And they asked the Fantastic Beast question that they both got wrong, and I got it right. And I was like, "Hey, I got this one right. That's cool." I never would. They asked what Newt gives Jacob before they capture the Arumpet and Central Park Zoo in Fantastic Beasts, and I forget. I know Scully said. I know what he said. I forgot what RJ said.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Gives him a helmet.
Oh yeah, because
And then he
it's
gets armor too. So they get technically it's two things. But I knew helmet, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he has armor too. But yeah, I think Scully said Musk, but he doesn't give that to Jacob. He uses it on himself. So
yeah, because didn't he comment that he was like it's mating season for him or
yes,
whatever? And I remember that scene being like, he just insinuated that Rhino thing's gonna rape Jacob.
try to anyway.
Yeah. So
But yeah, so I think I don't know Fantastic Beasts, and then I can pull stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, I still need to watch them again because then they'll ask what Credence's like little sister, his adopted little sister's name is, and I'm like, I don't know.
yeah.
Or like the names of the senators' sons, and I'm like, I don't remember. I don't care.
Yep. Nope. Yeah. No idea.
Those things have no appeal to me. Is the point.
Yeah, like I can't stand that first movie.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
like I like uh friggin' Percival Graves. I like him a lot. I think it's stupid that he has the same exact haircut as Grindelwald. Like the entire time, you're like, obviously this guy's the bad guy. He has the same haircut as Johnny Depp in the beginning of the movie. He's Grindelwald. Even his last initial is the same as Grindelwald's last initial. How are you not figuring this out, Americans? And then I remember, oh yeah, Americans can be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But hey, it's whatever. But yeah, like there are definitely moments in that movie where I'm like, yes, good work. And then moments where I'm just like, no, please stop.
I find a lot more of those than the other, but
yeah, like I'm ready to see the third one. Like Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald, I don't know if I'll like that.
I'm pretty sure I will. I've never not liked the Mads Mikkelsen performance.
That's true. Like I just don't like why they replaced Johnny Depp.
They had to though.
Yes. I agree. And I wish they
would still a kid franchise,
Yeah. I just wish they had, but they still have Ezra Miller in there, and he choked a woman.
He did do that, but apparently that is more forgivable than Johnny Depp stuff.
Yeah.
He's still in the Flash movie, right? I mean, he's still doing that too. So, You know what it was? It's because Snyder Cut came out and he was redeemed as an actor.
Yeah. Well, and like when the Snyder Cut came out, they then it was a big old thing about how like since he was super speeding and he moved her hair out of her face, they were like, the Flash is a sexual deviant. He touched that woman without her.
That's a little much.
Yeah. But yeah.
People are aware that there are people in the world called aggregators, right? Whose main idea is just to say things to make people upset, right? Like that's the thing. Those people exist.
Yeah, that's all Facebook is. Like
I mean, yeah, I don't yes, that is true. It's not all it is, but it's a big part of it.
Well, because like they hear you have a view. So let's say, for an example, I don't want to say any horrible worldview, but let's say you have a horrible worldview, then they're gonna like show you ads that support that horrible worldview, and then you're just like, hey, yeah, this is a normal thing to do, and then yep, awful, and I hate it. But speaking of Harry Potter, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yes, it's an awesome movie.
Yeah, this is my favorite of the Harry Potter movies.
Okay. It's high up there. I think it's like 3 for me, but
like there are some weird things in this movie and in the book that whenever I guess I never realized it when I'm reading the book because I'm still thinking of it as Hermione. But when they go to Gringotts and it's Helena Bonham Carter as Hermione as Bellatrix,
Yes.
and they have to, use the Imperius curse on the
Bogrod?
on the goblin because they're like, present your wand. But in the scene before that, you see Ollivander like examine Bellatrix's wand and is like, yeah, this belongs to her. I'm like, you have the wand in your possession. Just hand it to the guy.
No, wait, isn't it the point though? That's what they say, that her wand's been stolen. So they have to Imperius her, because if she has her actual wand, which they can identify, then they know that they're the robbers, the people.
Okay. I guess that makes more sense. And I know, like, in the book, they explain it why Griphook wants the sword.
They do a better job of that. But again, that's a book that has an opportunity to look intrinsically, introspectively into people's whatever. So, and get more time to do that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, like I really like the movie.
Very good. It's very action packed, unlike part one, which is more of a snooze. So,
and I will say the movie does one thing that I like that the book doesn't do.
Oh,
I think it's an improvement on the book.
Okay.
At the end, Harry breaks the Elder Wand.
Yes.
And I think that's so stupid in the book that he just sticks it back in Dumbledore's grave and is like, if I die a regular death, then no one will be the master of the Elder Wand. And I'm like, Harry, you are so arrogant that you're becoming an Auror, and you're gonna think no one is either gonna disarm you magically or just run up to you and steal your wand, because apparently that's all the Elder Wand needs, is your child to pick up your wand one day and be like, no, Dad, and then him get sassy with you, and now your child's the master of the Elder Wand.
Like, they have guns in this world. He could just get shot by a muggle at some point and probably not realize like it's happening and be able to use magic to stop it.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of situations.
At least they live in Britain where you're not allowed to have guns.
Yeah, I guess. But he's an Auror, right? So he'll have to travel. Yeah,
I mean, he might just live off of that good "I killed Voldemort" name and be like,
wouldn't you? I would. I didn't understand why he would get.
If someone's like, "Hey, go on a mission," he's like, "Hey, I don't need to catch other dark wizards. I killed the best one ever."
Yeah,
but yeah,
like on like money or stuff. He should be like, and I'm thinking about this because I just watched it. He should be like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. He should be like the Prince of Britain, of the wizarding world. His face should be on money, and he shouldn't have to do a damn thing.
Yeah, but so that's the one thing. Like, I think it's an improvement on the books. Like, I don't like that he doesn't, in the books he restores his Holly wand with the Elder Wand.
Yes, and
then puts it back. I wish in the movie you saw him do that so he could get his regular wand, and then he snaps it. Like,
yeah, that would be better.
But I do like that he destroys it, because now he's destroyed one Deathly Hallow. The other one's just in the forest, so as long as no one goes through there with like a metal detector, which I mean,
I always didn't like that. I'm like,
he just leaves it there.
I know it's a forest and like it's deep in the forest, but definitely a centaur or somebody could come across it.
Yeah, or apparently that's where they, like, in the first year they're like, no one goes into the dark forest unless you have detention, and then we'll send you into the dark forest.
I never understood that part of it. I was like, isn't this forbidden for a reason?
Like, or, like, the Resurrection Stone has enough dark magic that if someone goes looking for and sensing dark magic, they're going to find it, because not only was it used to be the housing unit for a Horcrux, but it is also a Deathly Hallow. Like, someone's going to go find that thing. But at least if they're that close to the school, they're going to go find the Elder Wand. Since he kind of reveals in the books how the Elder Wand happens. He's like, I became the master. And he says this in front of the entire school. At least, like, in the movie, he only tells Ron and Hermione, which I like, and then he breaks it, and he's like, "Yep, I'm the master."
More speaks to the kind of character Harry is at that time. If this was Harry when he was 14, he probably would have been more inclined to share that information with everybody. But Harry at 17, who went, or 18 probably at that point, looking for stuff. It's he lived a life. He lived like 2 lives in the time it took to get all the Horcruxes and defeat Voldemort. So
Yeah, and then of course, like there's the moment in the movie where when he kills Voldemort and Voldemort turns to ash. I hate it. I know
I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
I think I love. It's a great spectacle, but he's supposed to die like a regular man.
Yeah.
So instead, he dies like this fantastical evil thing. That okay.
I kind of wish people had seen that though, because I bet if they had, then people would have been like, "Oh man, Harry can turn people to dust. That's kind of scary. Maybe nobody should ever mess with Harry Potter ever again."
Yeah, but yeah, like I really like the movie.
It's great. It's fun. They do all that planning in part 1 to raid the Ministry of Magic, and in the book they do a lot talking about the planning to get into Gringotts, and here it's just like we're doing it. And you're like, yes, after what happened in part 1, I just kind of want you to get to the heist, please. That would be really nice.
Yes. I will say, like, that is the ugliest dragon I have ever seen.
Ukrainian Iron Belly sounds ugly.
And also, it just flies away. So I guarantee there's some farmer in Britain that.
Who knows if it stopped in Britain?
Yeah, that's just like tending to his sheep or his goats or whatever, and then a dragon.
Oh, no, they're all gone.
Yeah. And whatever. But yeah, like yeah, I really like the movie. I think it's the best one. And I think, like I've told you, I think there's some improvements on the book. And then yeah, so I like it. I like it a whole lot. Next week we get to watch review Black Widow, so that'll be fun. And the week after that, we're gonna do Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2.
Yes. Hooray.
Yeah. Hooray.
Hooray.
But you want to go ahead and move on to Loki?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Loki. Spoilers. Episode 4 and 5.
Probably watched 4 already for sure. That's probably a given that it's a week later.
Yeah, but hey, you out there, you haven't watched episode 5 of Loki? What you doing?
Get the hell on it, you idiot.
Yeah, go out there, watch that thing. Okay?
You don't know what you're missing, man.
Yeah, now come on back, and now we talking about it. So, the TVA is ran by robots.
Well, kinda.
Kinda. I mean, if we're talking about 4 first, and then...
Can we say before we get into anything?
Yeah.
I was super thrilled by how these 2 episodes went in comparison to 3. 3 was like a snooze fest to me, and these were not snooze fests. They were the opposite. Yeah,
like the next week is going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to try. I'm going to watch all the Marvel shows with my kids the next like 2 weeks. So now that Loki's finishing up, and we don't have another one until
August 11th.
Yep. So,
can we talk about that too?
Oh yes.
As an addendum after we do the Loki stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, like, yeah, it was a great. 4 was good. I kind of suspected the entire, like the Wizard of Oz reveal.
Yeah, I mean it's a trope for a reason. People use it all the time. It works.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to figure out who leads the TVA. I still think
it's probably a Loki.
Honestly, so I was thinking about that. Now that they're not, but somewhere in my brain, I wants to be for it to be King the Conqueror.
That's a possibility. The other one I've seen is it could be Doctor Doom.
Yes, I would love that as well.
That would be kind of cool. I just don't think one episode is enough unless they literally get to him at the beginning of the episode and there's 50 minutes to explain. Because I really don't think there's enough time to really house in everything that they need to make that as clear and concise as should be.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they have enough time for King either.
Probably. Well, I mean, but at least Kang's coming soon-ish.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, but would the everyday fan know that he's going to be in Ant-Man 3?
At this, how many Easter eggs did they have in episode 5? A lot.
Oh yeah, like the little frog Thor.
Yeah, Throg.
Yeah, and then
and the Thanos copter.
Yep. And then I remember watching the trailers for this show and thought, man, it's weird that Loki, he eventually gets an outfit that has like Vote on it, and I thought, man, if we're gonna see something that's like as I was watching it, he's like, he wants to take over the TVA, and I'm like, if he does something like make the TVA great again, I'm gonna be mad. Because so when I saw that, I was like, that's exactly what's gonna happen. And then it wasn't that, and I was so that it wasn't our Loki. But then I'm like, I want to deal more with that guy. He's cool.
Well, he's, as I've heard, some people are like, he's the Loki we thought we were going to get, because that's more in tune with the 2012 Loki coming out of Avengers than with the Loki we actually have. Can we back up a little bit, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Going back to 4, spoilers, everybody. Mobius gets pruned.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so bummed. I was like, did they just get rid of Owen Wilson? And the reason I didn't like episode 3 as much is because I missed him talking with Loki. I know, like, you got to get Sylvie in there, and she's been better than I think than she was in that episode personally. But I'm like, I can't believe you did that. And then they get, they prune Loki at the end after they reveal that the TVA's elders are just robots. And I was like, well, he can't be gone, because I've seen so many trailers of that part that you're mentioning in 5 with President Loki. I'm like, he has to be somewhere. And then they do the reveal at the end, in the only post-credit, which, by the way, skipping forward to 5, I was like, where's the post-credit?
Yeah.
Got a little bummed. I was like, what the hell's up with that? But yeah, no, I knew Loki wasn't gone, because I was like, well, I mean, we missed, like, there's things in the trailer that have not been revealed yet. And unless those were mess arounds to screw with people, that still exists.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I was thinking to myself the entire time, like, once he got Owen Wilson got pruned.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, I had the same reaction as you. And then Loki got pruned, and I'm like, ah.
I did have that sensation. I'm like, are they going to try to do the final 2 episodes without Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston? I'm like, that's a choice. It's a choice. I don't know if I like it, but it's a choice. I was like,
is this their way of like writing Tom Hiddleston out, and so that Sylvie will be the one that shows up in Thor: Love and Thunder and being like, hey bro, what's up? And then they have to explain that.
Isn't Tom Hiddleston in Thor: Love and Thunder?
Well, I mean, it could be like a flash. But at that point, I was like, oh, it could be.
I couldn't remember if he went to Australia to film or not. Him being in the cast list for that doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, but now it makes me think, okay, he's going to survive this entire encounter, and then he'll show up in Thor: Love and Thunder, and then he'll have to be like, hey, bro. And then have to explain this entire little adventure. Like, they'll explain it off screen, so they don't have to explain it to the...
Yeah.
And he'll be like,
too hard.
He's like, okay, I'm all caught up now. Cool. So you're not the one I saw get choked out? He's like, nah, but I know what happened to him. And like, I like how old Loki, he didn't get choked out by Thanos.
I think that's so cool. I love classic Loki. I think classic Loki, and Richard E. Grant is a fucking awesome dude. Like, he's just so good at stuff, and that was on display in this for sure.
And then, of course, young Loki kills Thor.
Kid Loki, who reminds me of like the kids in Cheaper by the Dozen or whatever. Just like, he looks like a kid who would be in something like that.
So I have a question. Maybe it's just because they look similar enough, but is Kid Loki the same actor who played Kid Loki in the first Thor movie? When Loki.
Good question.
Because
I think that guy would be too old. I think it could be too old, right?
Well, it would have only been
it's 10 11, years. It's 11 to 10 years.
Maybe.
He might be a little too old for that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same person.
Okay. Good deal.
I will say, though, until the last part of episode 5, I was sitting there and I was going, obviously the winner of this episode. Do you know who I would say it was prior to the last part of the episode?
The alligator?
Alligator Loki was killing the episode. He was murdering it. Like, he was owning it from here to there to everywhere. I freaking love Alligator Loki. If you want to do, if MCU, Marvel, if you want to take this idea, go ahead and run with it. I'm fine with it. I don't have to copyright it. But if you wanted to do like an Animal Planet style, like documentary series, and you wanted Alligator Loki to be the star, and you had like a narrator, if it was Tom Hiddleston or Chris Hemsworth or whatever. Chris Hemsworth's already swimming with sharks, you know, on the Discovery Channel or whatever. Just let him do this. I would be all on board. Let's go. Let's go Animal Planet Kingdom Asgard MCU show. I'm all in. Let's go.
But yeah, like, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because I remember watching episode 4 and thinking it's extremely narcissistic and kind of creepy that they're falling in love.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, oh, I love myself so much that one, I asked someone, I was like, if they were to end up having sex, is that incest or is that masturbation?
It's masturbation.
Okay.
Which is funny because you're having that discussion and then Owen Wilson literally has that discussion with him.
Yeah, but
trying to get to the bottom of it.
But I would figure since Asgardians can have children, what if they have produced a child? Would that be like super incest?
That would be like a hermaphrodite situation, I think.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how any of that works because technically, like, she would have. They don't have the same DNA because she's still XX and he's XY.
Yes.
So it would be like if you and your twin sister, disgusting, but did it.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it along the lines of, you know, every time there's like an apocalyptic situation and there's 2 people left and they're like, we got to repopulate the planet. And then you have to, because I always do the math. I'm like, okay, well then they have kids, but then the kids have to bang because they're the only ones. Like, they can't go. There's not an additional family of 2 and then they can cross pollinate. I mean, it's all in one DNA.
Oh, so you mean like, not to get religious over here, but the Adam and Eve phenomenon or the Noah and his kids phenomenon?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I always think about that when I like, well, you got to repopulate the Earth. I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna have some chromosomes that aren't. You're gonna have too many chromosomes in some cases, and you're gonna have to. There's gonna be like shallow pools of the DNA strain that you have to deal with.
As a person who I am religious, I still think about it, and I'm like, ooh, we are like at least 4 times incest as a human species.
Has to be. We had no other choice.
Yeah.
We couldn't mate with dinosaurs. Well, the dinosaurs were gone, but you know what I mean. We couldn't mate with the apes and the other animals.
Yeah, like unless like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get in.
Let's not get into that.
That's not religious.
But I actually think that plays very well to their character. I think that makes all the sense in the world that would be what is considered a Nexus event. I like how they try to play it off Loki and Sylvie in 5, but obviously that's exactly what happened. They know that's exactly what happened. By the way, can you? I thought about this and I asked my wife when we were watching it. When he gives her the blanket, this is a really dumb thing, but I just want to know what you think. Did he magic the blanket to be larger, or did he magic the side of the blanket to go around her?
Oh,
I was trying to figure that out. I couldn't figure it out.
hmm. I just assumed larger.
I assumed larger as well, but I had no idea. Because she said because they had to get close. So I was like, did he actually make it larger? Or did he just kind of magic it over? I was like, I thought, I mean, the other part about that, which I thought was funny, was like the other Lokis and Mobius are in the hut talking, and Kid Loki's like, I hope they know what they're doing. And then those two are just out there talking, and then they cut to them all together looking at Eliath. And I'm like, what did the Lokis inside think that Loki and Sylvie were doing outside? Planning? Did they think they were planning? What was going on? I just wanted to know what they thought they were doing outside.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I can't wait for next week. I honestly, like, we were talking earlier about the Doctor Doom thing. I think that would be better than it being Kang, because
It would
there
be
have been
it
two
would-
other Fantastic Four movies, so they could just show the helmet and not have to explain it, really.
Is it funny that Latveria is the thing at the end of time?
Yeah.
You don't want to go to Latveria because it's literally at the end of the timeline. Like, by the way, every time I think about the void, I think of Sakaar, because I mean things were coming in portals. So I was like, oh, so you're just doing Sakaar, and then because Sakaar was like the universe's dump, I was like, oh, this is like taking things to the dump. You think you're not actually getting rid of it, you're putting it in a place, and then you're not thinking about it anymore because it's so far, usually outside the city limits where your city is, that you just think it's gone.
Yeah.
Would.
So I was thinking as well, like the fact that they could be doing this where, like in the comics in 2015, they did this big old thing called Battle World, where all the multiverses of the Marvel comics all got put together, and Doctor Doom was the king.
Yes,
because he's like a really powerful sorcerer, and he took over Battle World.
Well, they do that in Secret Wars too. In the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, they did the same thing.
Yeah, and they did explain at the beginning of the season that there were multiverses, and then the Timekeepers put them all, stop the wars, and put it all into one sacred timeline. So I'm like, ooh, if they decide to do that and just be like, it's Victor Von Doom, and that he's just chilling out here and he's controlling things, and then if he gets beat somehow and then he escapes to Earth and starts the country of Latveria, I'd be okay with that. Like,
well, my hope is that if that doesn't happen, then we get the Latveria reveal in Black Panther 2. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Or maybe they'll throw it into Quantum Mania or Multiverse of Madness or whatever the hell.
well, because unless they like go straight up, because there is a Fantastic Four movie coming in 2023, I think. Maybe 2024. Unless they straight up introduce all four members of the Fantastic Four and Doom all in this one movie without any lead up.
We've done that twice, and it wasn't good either time. So
yeah.
I think you can do with doing one or the other. I mean, everybody thought in WandaVision that the science officer that Monica was going to go see was going to be Reed Richards, and I was like all pumped for it. And I would have been totally fine with that. We didn't need the other Fantastic Four people. So, I mean, even just getting one is fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Hey, you out there, I'm taking the spoiler tag down right now, and we're gonna talk about what if. So,
God,
it looks.
I am so stoked.
Yes. So there are a few things I'm bummed out about.
Well, yeah.
Like one, this is gonna be Chadwick Boseman's last performance as Black Panther.
And but I think even though he's great in in Defy Bloods and Black Bottom, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, doesn't it just seem right that the last thing ever is Black Panther? Doesn't it just seem,
Yeah.
or T'Challa, I guess in this case, because he's not Black Panther technically.
Yeah, he's
he's a Ravager, which is fucking dope. That's the coolest thing ever.
So I'm wondering, like, are these what if timelines the stuff Sylvie did?
I think they contemplated. I think there is a situation where this could be canon.
Yeah.
Come up, and that's really, really cool.
But yeah, like, I hate that, like, Robert Downey Jr. did not come back to voice Tony.
No Chris Evans.
And Chris Evans did not come back.
No Tom Holland. Doesn't that seem weird?
Oh, did Tom Holland not?
I was watching a review and somebody said no RDJ, no Chris Evans, and I thought he said no Tom Holland.
Oh,
I thought was strange. I was like, Tom Holland did Onward. He doesn't give a crap about doing like voice work. Why would he not want to do this?
Yeah, and then
while you're talking, I will look that up actually, because now that I think about it more.
So those two, that bummed me out a little bit, was because I thought RDJ was going to be in it. Because
you don't have to spoil anything. Well, I was going to ask you a question about Black Widow.
Oh, you can absolutely ask.
Isn't he in that?
He is not.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. That was a red herring then.
Yeah. The entire movie, I'm thinking to myself, when is Iron Man going to show up? And he doesn't at all. So I would much rather have went into the movie not knowing, instead of someone being like, oh yeah, he's going to be in Black Widow, and then he's not. And me wondering every time something happens, that, oh, this is when Tony would swoop in. Oh, he doesn't? Okay. This is when. Oh, he doesn't? Oh, hey, it's the end credit scene. This will be when it is. Nope. Oh, another end credit scene. Oh, there's not one? Cool. Yeah, there's only one end credit scene. But you're watching it at your house, so.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the cast list for What If, and Spider-Man doesn't show up on this cast list.
But we know there definitely is Spider-Man.
Yep, but it doesn't indicate
who's doing
Spider-Man character in it and who does it. But literally everybody else. And the best part is that Commissioner Gordon is the Watcher.
Yep.
Like that's that, and I love Jeffrey Wright. Like he's so cool. So that makes all the sense in the world. But man, they literally got everybody. Just looking at the list, I'm like, oh man, they got everybody. That's cool.
Yeah, I was really. Oh wait, and they didn't get Benedict Cumberbatch. That was it. That was the other one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's shocking. I think it's shocking for anybody who's still in the universe to not do this.
Yeah.
Like Chris Evans and RDJ, I get they're not around, but anybody else, that's why the Tom Holland one that I'd heard seems strange to me. But that one seems definitely strange because unless he was just too busy, literally, because he was doing the other Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so apparently it was those, and I think Benicio del Toro did not come back to voice the Collector.
Huh. Well, he's a weird guy, so I get it.
So, and I don't think there was, like, I know I'm trying to think. Michael B. Jordan came back to do Killmonger.
Yep.
Which that part in the trailer was super exciting. You just see him.
I thought that was awesome way to start it in the new one. I was like, yeah, let's get it.
Yeah,
he could be kill Ironmonger, right?
Yeah, and then Peggy is. I don't like that she just called herself Captain. Like, I guess Steve Rogers really never referred to himself as Captain America as much.
It's different.
So, but I really wanted to hear Captain Britain.
Well, I mean, she's a woman. She has to fight harder. There's things that are different in her, how it is that she has to go about having that mantle. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's a different life experience, we'll say.
But yeah, like I wonder if these will just be one-off things. I hope they're canon.
I don't
But
think they're gonna be one-offs.
yeah, like it's gonna be weird because at the same time that Star Wars Visions show is coming out, it's all the anime Star Wars things, which I don't watch anime at all, but I'm
This
gonna
stuff
watch.
sounds. I don't know.
Yeah, but they apparently all 9 episodes are dropping on the same day.
Oh,
So it's at least that one won't be a week by week thing because I would probably just like not enjoy that at all because I don't watch it. Like I don't watch anime. I like the Bad Batch, but yeah, I don't think I would be. And those stories, from what they've said, is they are not canon to the Star Wars universe. It's just what other Japanese anime studios have wanted to make, and Lucasfilm was like, "Sure, you can do that." So I'm not super excited if it's not going to like build on lore. I'm not excited about it, but I'll watch it if it all drops on one day. I'll totally watch all 9 of them or however many they are and review it. And it's all dropping, I think, the same week that What If is, but What If is still going to be weekly.
well, yeah, because Marvel's proven for them that the method works.
Yeah.
Works for them.
Like, is there any episode or out of the What If stuff that you've seen so far? Is there any that you're not excited about? Because there's one I'm not excited about.
No, I'm
Oh,
excited for all of them.
I am not super excited about Marvel Zombies.
Why?
I
think
just
that's awesome.
I didn't like the comic run.
Okay. Well, I didn't read the comic run.
So I wasn't super excited about that. I'm sure Kevin Feige could figure out a way to get it done. Plus, it's only a 30-minute little cartoon show,
Yeah.
so it's not like I'm having to wait a year to get issue after issue after issue for it to be stupid. So maybe it won't be too bad.
I mean, we said this will be canon, but not everything has to be canon, right?
Yeah. Which I mean, I like the idea that if it's going to be canon, it's because of what they've done in the TVA. So it might not affect the main timeline, the one where all the movies are, but I like to think, hey, in this little pocket dimension, Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum, or hey, in this pocket dimension, T'Challa got picked up instead of whatever.
I had my wife watch that, and she was like, "Wait, is he like a Ravager?" And I was like, "Yeah, that part that you saw was him being picked up by Yondu." She's like, "Everything was happening so fast in that trailer. I would have to watch it like 9 times to figure it out." And I was like, "I understand what you mean. It was a lot to throw at you if you're not like super honed in."
But yeah, so you want to talk about the Bad Batch now?
Sure, yeah. Let's we're not running long, but we're running a little long, so let's get into it.
Yeah, so episode 10 and 11. I really liked both episodes.
They were fun. They were fun episodes. I liked them a lot. I like 10 more than 11, I think. But
yeah. I like 10 a whole lot. Like I like that Omega is becoming more and more useful. Like she's the strategic person, and
she's Ender. She's the Ender game character.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was good. The one part about 11 that I didn't like as much is you only see him once.
Well, so that episode to me seemed like, and the only thing I could think of, and this is a really bad example, but it's the best I can come up with. It's like those episodes where they do those bottle episodes where they try to introduce side characters and then the other main characters like working around it. Like the best example I could think of was in Lost when they do the Nikki and Paulo episode, which everybody hated. But as it's mainly about them. They have, Sun and Kate and Hurley and Sawyer trying to like understand what's happening. So they're doing like an investigation and they're peripherally around what's happening. That's kind of how I looked at this.
Yeah, I liked it because obviously this is a 2-part thing, so they may not have been really big here, but next week it's also going to be staged on Ryloth, so I'm guessing they're going to be a bigger part of going and getting Hera out, which I like seeing Hera because she's one of the best characters in Rebels.
Okay. I was going to ask you about how this played into the other.
Yeah, so she goes on to be a general in the rebellion and then a general in the resistance, and she fights in the battle over Exegol.
Okay.
So she goes on to do that, and so it's all this stuff. Like, the one part of it that I wasn't super thrilled about was the droid Chopper. I don't remember anywhere in Rebels where it referenced her owning him for the longest amount of time. So I thought that was a droid that her and Kanan got together. So seeing him here, I was like, ooh, that killed my perception of the events of whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's a book that happens before Rebels, and Chopper's not in the book, and that's when Kanan and Hera meet. So I always assumed they got Chopper after they met. But it might just be that, she didn't have him at the time with her. But that happens. Things
happen.
But I really like the episode. I like this kind of shows that the Empire, they're kind of dicks. We've always known they
definitely are dicks.
Yeah, we've always known they were dicks. But yeah, I wasn't super excited about all that. And then I don't like that Crosshair got healed so quickly. He just looks like a normal dude again.
Got back to tanks.
Yeah, it's just an engine to the face. I was expecting some scarring or something, but apparently,
I don't know what's in the clone's DNA, or maybe you do, but I don't. What about healing capabilities, especially what happens on Camino, what they can do at their facilities for the sake of trying to heal clones? We have no idea.
Yeah, but with the fact that I don't think the Kaminoans would heal him because they're trying to plot against the Empire right now.
They are, but if the Empire came in and was like, we need you to heal Crosshair, they're not going to say no outright, because I think that would ruin their subterfuge.
Yeah. And now I did I can't remember what the captain's name was, but the clone captain.
Oh, yeah.
He has his own design.
Like Shazam, but it's not Shazam.
Yeah.
Hauser?
Yep, that's right. He has his special design. Unlike all the other clones who all got the same buzz cut and everything, he has his own hairstyle, and he has his painted armor still, which was a nice thing from the Clone Wars. All the troopers, they painted their armor or their helmets, and they all got a different haircut or got a tattoo on their head or whatever to make themselves like individuals. Instead of now in the Empire, they all look the same. So I liked that, and that makes me think that next week he'll turn on the Empire when the batch comes to save Hera, and that will be her first involvement with leading a rebel cell, and then that will lead into her place in Star Wars Rebels. So I'm cool with that. And if that means us not having to deal with and we'll get to see Crosshair and the batch interact again.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time when they went to land on that moon, I was thinking, oh, they're going to track them, and then we're going to see Crosshair fight with the batch again.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, it's kind of weird that they're that close and the Empire's not really aware that they're there.
Yep. But I think it was good. We got 5 more episodes. Yeah. It's going to be a very...
Well, all these shows will be done, or mostly done, by the time football starts, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think. I think after after the Bad Batch, and then they have the Vision show. I don't think we have another Star Wars show until Book of Boba Fett. So,
which is what, winter?
December, I think.
Yeah, I thought that because Mandalorian season 3 is what, winter 22.
Yeah, I think
Something like that. Okay.
But yeah,
2022. That's when shit pops off.
Yeah, and then of course we have like I think Miss Marvel this year still, and then Hawkeye.
Yeah, I think that's the
after What If. So it could be very interesting. And of course, on the movie side, we got Shang-Chi.
The Eternals.
Yep, Eternals. And Spider-Man, right?
That's right. Yes, Spider-Man as well.
Is there something else?
Morbius isn't this year, right?
No.
Venom isn't this year, right? I don't think so. I think Venom is next year.
No. I'm about to look it up.
Okay.
Just a second. See if there's any other movies this year or not. Nope. After, there's just Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man. And then, of course, Black Widow that came out.
I mean, 4 in a year is pretty good.
Yep. But, let's go ahead and go into the farewell category. We're over an hour and a half into this bad boy.
Yep.
Last week it was only 30 minutes, so over 2 weeks we did 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, so thank you, Robert, for coming on the show. I super appreciate it. Yeah, like it's always good to have you on.
Thank you. It's good to be on. Like I said, it's always nice because it's the jumping off point for the weekend.
Yep, and of course we got the Schmoedown stuff tonight, but who knows?
No, we had the Schmoedown stuff on Friday.
Oh yeah. We had the Schmoedown stuff Friday, so that was loads of fun, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's
good time had by all.
Yeah, it's a good good show. Next week we got Black Widow.
Black Widow.
And series finale of Loki, and then episode 12 of Bad Batch. All right. And do you have anything you want to plug?
Got more matches coming out as indicated. I mean, we talked about the couple that I did, but there will be more coming out, I think, probably in Full Metal, especially. So look out for that. Otherwise, at Robert Kastner at Facebook, you know where to get me.
All right. And if you want to follow me on Twitter at Colton Roberts 8 and follow the show at SuperNova_show. The SuperNova Network link is right there. SuperNova Network. And don't forget, #Aragon Remake. Get on that, Disney. But let's go back to the farewell. And we're out. You guys have a great week. Signing out.
Don't forget to tip your virtual waitresses, guys and gals. And everything.